Presidential Task Force. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, good evening. Today I would like to talk about the common misconceptions on COVID-19. But before I do that, I need to just say a few words on security and surveillance. As we all know, COVID-19 has brought with it its own security challenges. The PTF continues to ensure that citizens' safety is prioritized during the pandemic. It is particularly important to emphasize the importance of free movement of goods while restricting unnecessary, non-essential interstate movement of people. So to this end, the PTF continues to urge security agencies to reinforce their surveillance across the states to ensure the protection of lives and property. So now to the issue of common misconceptions on COVID-19. As we all know, they say knowledge is power, and by having that knowledge, you will be able to protect yourselves. As stated by the DG and CDC, the national response is driven by science, it's driven by evidence and by data. So I'd like to go through a few common misconceptions on COVID so that we can all educate ourselves and remain safe. So the first one has to do with climate. Hot climates prevent the spread of COVID-19. Well, no matter how sunny or humid the weather is, anybody can get COVID-19. Nigeria has recorded a total of almost 5,000 cases to date, irrespective of the fact that we are actually a hot country. There is also no scientific evidence to show that coronavirus cannot survive in hot weather. The best way to protect ourselves against COVID-19 is by maintaining physical distance, washing our hands, avoiding mass gatherings, maintaining physical distances, etc. The second misconception has to do with the fact that people who have recovered should be avoided. Well, actually, if you recover from COVID and you're no longer excreting the virus, you're in the best position to be considered safe. It's important that we continue to regard COVID as a disease that does not respect gender, socio-economic class, age, or geographic location. We must also stop stigmatization of people with COVID infection. Once you recover from COVID, the data is pretty robust that antibody levels are very likely to continue to ensure immunity for some years. Certainly, if we use data from other coronavirus infections such as SARS, CoV, and the MERS infection. So let us stop the stigmatization. Thirdly, the issue of bleach or ethanol can cure COVID-19. Well, bleach should really be used to disinfect surfaces. As we all know, bleach is poisonous. If you take bleach, yes, it could kill the coronavirus on your mucosal surface, but it could also kill you. So it's definitely not advised. The other misconception has to do with the fear that you will catch COVID-19 from a foreigner. Well, you're just as likely to catch COVID from a fellow citizen. At the moment, we have increased cases of community transmission of the virus. Anyone in Nigeria can transmit the disease, so let us please try and protect ourselves and others by adhering to the safety protocols during the eased lockdown phase. And then we've got the issue about Africans cannot catch COVID-19. Well, we're all Africans, and we know that over 70,000 cases of COVID have been diagnosed in Africa, with over 2,000 deaths so far. There's no doubt Africans are getting the virus, and Nigerians are getting the virus as well. So we are not immune on the basis of being Africans. So another common misconception is that for you to have COVID-19, you have to be very sick. No, the majority of persons, up to 8 out of every 10 persons with COVID, will have mild or moderate symptoms that will not even require hospitalization. A lot will not even know that they have picked COVID because the symptoms will be so mild that it will not require them to stop their normal activities. But nevertheless, they could still transmit COVID infection. And that's why we have to protect ourselves at all times. It's not necessary that it's only the person you see on a sick bed that has COVID. It could also be somebody sitting or close to you. Another misconception, wearing a face mask alone is sufficient to protect you from COVID-19. Well, face masks are used to cover the mucosal surfaces of the nose and mouth. As far as I know, there are no face masks that cover the eyes. So you can still catch COVID if you expose yourself to somebody with the infection, especially if you stand very close to the person and that person is talking into your face. So it's important for us to maintain those other measures in addition to using a face mask to make sure that we absolutely protect ourselves from catching this dreadful infection. And then finally, the misconception that COVID-19 is a biological weapon created by governments, or it is a ploy to generate resources. And that cannot be further from the truth. If you're going to generate resources, you wouldn't start by creating a pandemic. It's the last thing you need. In addition to that, almost every country in the world is affected by COVID. Thousands of people have died worldwide from COVID. If it was a biological weapon created by a government, then no government will destroy its own citizens. You would expect that that government would have made sure that their citizens are immune to this. Thank you very much.